In today's episode, we'll be exploring 10 surprising facts about the history of Halloween. So, what is the history of Halloween and when was it first celebrated? Why do we trick or treat? Why do we carve pumpkins? Well, welcome back to FTD Facts. I'm Sarah Carvalho, and today we'll be exploring 10 surprising facts about the history of Halloween thanks to the research of Dr. David, an expert on British folklore. So without further delay, let's get into today's facts. All right, starting off at number 10, is it a religious holiday? Well, most people believe the 31st of October is an ancient pagan festival associated with the supernatural. In fact, it has religious connotations, although there is disagreement among historians about when it began. Some say Hallowtide was introduced as All Saints' Day in the 7th century AD by Pope Boniface IV, while others maintain it was created in the 9th century AD by Christians to commemorate their martyrs and saints. In medieval Britain, Halloween was the eve of the Catholic festival All Saints, or All Hallows from Old English Holy Man, on November 1st, and was followed by the Feast of All Souls on November 2nd. All right, now let's talk about it. Did people always carve pumpkins like we do today? Initially, the tradition began with the carving of a face on a turnip or swede, and only more recently did pumpkin carving begin. These carved root vegetables and fruits being used as lanterns seem to be a relatively modern tradition. In England, on the last Thursday of October, children in the Somerset village of Hinton St. George carry carved lanterns made of mangel-wurzels, which are a type of root vegetable. The light shines through a design etched on the skin. They are carried around the streets as the children chant, "It's punky night tonight, it's punky night tonight. Give us a candle, give us a light, it's punky night tonight." All right, let's talk about the act of trick-or-treating in England. Did you know that they didn't trick or treat in England until the 1970s? Much of the modern supernatural lore surrounding Halloween was invented as recently as the 19th century. Scots and Irish settlers brought the custom of Mischief Night visiting to North America, where it became known as trick or treat. Until the revival of interest in Halloween during the 1970s, this American tradition was largely unknown in England. The importation of trick or treat into parts of England during the 1980s was helped by scenes in American TV programs and the 1982 film E.T. Now, was Halloween always seen as supernatural? So here's the thing. There is no evidence that pagan Anglo-Saxons celebrated a festival on November 1st, but the Venerable Bede says the month was known as Blod Month, or Blood Month, when surplus livestock were slaughtered and offered as sacrifices. The truth is, there is no written evidence that October 31st was ever linked to the supernatural, at least in England before the 19th century. So today, Halloween can get pretty scary, but was it always scary? Well, the idea of Halloween as a festival of supernatural evil forces is again an entirely modern invention. Urban legends about razor blades and apples and cyanide in sweets, hauntings by restless spirits, and the use of October 31st as the date of evil or inauspicious events in horror films reflect modern fears and terrors. So no, according to all the information shared in today's facts, we will see that Halloween was not originally a scary holiday, but has transformed into such in more recent years. All right, friends, we've just reached the halfway point in our video. We've covered 5 surprising facts about the history of Halloween, and we have 5 more to go. But before we continue, I wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to all of our channel members. Keep in mind that becoming a channel member is much different than being a subscriber. While we certainly appreciate both, we really have to send out a huge thank you to all of our FTD Facts channel members who help keep the channel going. As a channel member, you have the opportunity to help support FTD Facts through monthly donations, which allow us to keep bringing you the awesome videos you love. Your donations help us increase video quality and variety, and even help us with monetization issues when we talk about your highly requested but sometimes controversial topics. So if you're interested in becoming an FTD Facts member, I'm gonna drop those details for you below in the description section. So be sure to take a look and click on that link. Remember, FTD Facts wouldn't be what it is without your generosity and loyalty. All right, let's get back into today's video. All right, coming in at fact number 5, is Halloween a festival of the dead? Well, in pre-Christian Ireland, November 1st was known as Samhain, or Summer's End. This date marked the onset of winter in Gaelic-speaking areas of Britain. It was also the end of the pastoral farming year, when cattle were slaughtered and tribal gatherings such as the Irish Face of Tara were held. In the 19th century, the anthropologist Sir James Frazer popularized the idea of Samhain as an ancient Celtic festival of the dead, when pagan religious ceremonies were held. So yes, technically it is a festival of the dead, but more so dead seasons and cattle. But clearly, it was only in more recent years that Halloween has been referred to as the Day of the Dead in relation to things like people, spirits, and all things creepy. All right, so we talk about handing out candy, but what about handing out prayers? The Catholic tradition of offering prayers to the dead, not pumpkins or candy, as well as the ringing of church bells and lighting of candles and torches on November 1st, provides the link between the spirit world and this holiday. In medieval times, prayers were said for souls trapped in purgatory on November 1st. This was believed to be a sort of halfway house on the road to heaven, and it was thought that their ghosts could return to earth to ask relatives for assistance in the journey to heaven by praying for them. And did you know that people used to go souling instead of trick-or-treating? Much more different than the trick-or-treating we know today, popular Halloween customs in England included souling, where groups of adults and later children wearing costumes visited big houses to sing and collect money and food. Souling was common in parts of Cheshire, Shropshire, Lancashire, and Yorkshire on November 1st and 2nd. In parts of northern England, special cakes were even baked and left in churchyards as offerings to the dead. I'm starting to wonder if all of these rumors about Halloween being scary actually came from Catholic or Christian activities. All right, let's look at the importance of bonfires on Halloween. Well, until the 19th century, bonfires were lit on Halloween in parts of northern England and Derbyshire. Some folklorists believe the enduring popularity of Guy Fawkes bonfires on November 5th may be a memory of an older fire festival, but there is a lack of written evidence for these in England before the late 17th century. All right, coming in at number 1, and it may be even a little bit shocking to you, Halloween was once romantic? Well, love divinations on Halloween spread to England from Scotland as a result of the popularity of Robert Burns's poem Halloween in Victorian times. One love divination mentioned by Burns includes placing hazelnuts in the fire, naming one for yourself and the other for your partner. If they burn gently and then go out, this indicates a long and harmonious life together. However, if they coughed and sputtered and exploded, this was a sign that problems were coming ahead. Apples were also used for divination purposes. The skin was thrown over the shoulder, or the fruit was floated in water or hung upon strings to be seized by the teeth of players. So that's where the tradition of bobbing for apples came from. All right, friends, this brings us to the end of our video on 10 surprising facts about the history of Halloween. I'm curious, what was the most surprising fact from today's video? Has your view of Halloween changed at all? Join in the conversation below in the comments and let me know. Also, feel free to follow me on social media to keep up with what I'm doing when I'm not here filming videos especially for you. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell to stay updated on all future posts. We'll see you right here on FTD Facts next time. Bye!